we got in a lot of trouble, and that was the final nail in the coffin. But in the lineage of the whole thing, though, was where I grew up. I grew up in the same neighborhood as this guy Bam Margera, who was a little skateboard kid in my neighborhood. And he would be he was he was on Jackasses, and so he was like sleeping on my floors coming out. And when we had Buzzkill, he was like 14 years old sleeping on my floor, and he was showing me little videos he's making and stuff. He's like, oh, I want to do what you do. And so then, that's kind of how the Jackass thing got born, out of going from Buzzkill.
Did you used to skate?
Yeah, I used to skate with them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome. That's insane that you were like the origins of Bam Margera and CKY. That's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah. Well, CKY is funny that you mentioned that, because so I produced his. So when Bam was 14, he was on a wheel company. He was sponsored by my friend's wheel company called Wheelie Co. And then we made him a video because he showed me some of these videos he was making. I said, oh, well, I'll help you make your skateboard video. And it was called Can't Kill Yourself. And so like that was the first video that I produced and made, and I'm in it. I'm in that video with him. And that became CKY. And then that's how the whole band came out of it and everything. So, and it
blew my mind.
Yeah. And the irony on that is I'm now partners with a woman named Felissa Rose. And we tour everywhere together. And her husband, Darren, he's like the lead guitar player from CKY, from that band, which basically came out of the skateboard video title that we did. So
96 quite bitter beans, that song.
And CKY, his Bam's brother, was in that as well, Jesse, and that band probably would have never even been anything if there wasn't Jackass and then Viva La Bam, because they were on Viva La Bam. But none of that would have happened if Bam wasn't sleeping on my floor, when he was coming out to LA and stuff like that. So it's or the video that I made. So it's kind of how, like, it's interesting how it's all linear. You know what I mean? There's this woman now that has a husband. She's got 3 kids because she met her husband because he was a big fan of Sleepaway Camp. And on Viva La Bam, she saw that the Darren from CKY had her picture on his guitar. And so they reached out and they started dating, and then they got married and had kids. So he would have never been on that TV show or never had CKY if it wasn't for my show Buzzkill. So
yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
I want ownership of her kids. I'm just kidding.
So how did you wind up on the radar of the Wayans brothers?
Yeah. Okay. So that goes all the way back to those same films that I was making prior to Buzzkill, these short films that I made. And that original thing, I could go get the VHS tape and show you. It was called Dave Sheridan, Americhameleon. And I made a bunch of, you want me to go get it really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I see these VHSs, man, I love old school VHSs. I got some fascination with VHSs for some reason. I don't know why. It's just the way it's made and shit. The tape inside it. It's old school as fuck, man. I love it.
My dad was telling me that when he was in the army in the 80s, because obviously he had VHS and he had Betamax. And it said that the struggle every time you'd find a porno, and it would only work on Betamax. And he's like, fuck, he's got a Betamax. Going around all the different.
Yeah, so basically, if we're gonna go talk history, we'll just go all the way back to the beginning here. So this tape right here, this is the original of everything. It's called Dave Sheridan's Americhameleon. And
that's still in its seal.
Oh yeah, I still have them all sealed and stuff like that. I probably got a couple cases of these sitting around my house. So eventually I might.
Are they still in print?
So here's the thing.
All right, carry on.
No. So I made these because, see, this was before the internet and all that stuff. This is how I would get my stuff around town. Like, oh yeah, this is who I am. You know what I mean? I'd pass tapes around. Tapes would then get taped and taped and taped. And and there's credits and stuff on the back, and got some good people in here. That I don't know if you know who Amy Sedaris is, and Horatio Sands, Ian Roberts, Mitch Rouse. So got some people that went on to be pretty big, and TV and film and stuff. And Travis and Travis and Frank from the Buzzkill guys were in this. But and you could see like, and I had all these like, those are real like licensed from different states. I would dress up in different characters and stuff, and just so like this one right here, that's in Texas. That was that character from Ghost World when I was shooting.
Oh yeah, Doug.
Yeah. But in this tape, his name's Stewart, and so Doofy on this tape, his name's Chip. So there's two videos of Chip, which is me playing Doofy, working at a gas station, and there's stuff with Stewart. And so with Miramax, the company that put out Scary Movie, which, because you asked about the weigh-ins, so these same tapes is what got Buzzkill, but these same tapes is what got me in Scary Movie as well, because this guy right here, the Stewart guy, they wanted to make a movie, a Demolition Derby movie. And we were in the process of making that movie. And basically I was going to star as that character, which is Doug from Ghost World, but it's Stewart in the movie. This was before Doug. And they were building the sets. They had everything cast. Ashton Kutcher was in it. A lot of pretty big names were in the movie. And then they were also getting ready to make Scary Movie. And they said, look, you're going to star in this movie. We should put you in another movie first. We're making this other movie. But at the time, that movie was called Scream, If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. It wasn't called Scary Movie. And the Wayans were doing it. And they said, we want you to play the Chip character. We want him to play this character, Doofy. And so I read the script and said, look, I'll play it if I get to play the killer. And they said, yeah, you can play the killer in the mask. I go, yeah, because there's a lot of, physical humor that I can bring with the killer inside the mask. And I don't want to be represented at the end of the movie. As you know, I take everything off and I'm the killer. So I go, I don't want to be represented as the killer. I'm not actually behind the mask. And so they let me do that. But I did have to go take a meeting with Keenan, and I went in as the Chip character. And he got totally freaked out because he thought they were sending somebody in that was like really messed up in the head and mentally challenged. And it was before cell phones too. So I had a pager, and I remember looking, and I'm in my car driving away from the meeting. I'll call it an audition, but it was like a reading kind of thing. Like I didn't read any lines. I just did everything that Chip would do, and which was mess everything up. And so I looked down, it was New York. I had to go to a payphone. It was $1.50 at the time, to like quarters to call New York. And they said, what did you do? I go, I think it really went really well. And then, no, he's freaked out. He thinks we sent somebody that's really mentally challenged. You got to go back and show him who you are for real. And I said, oh, okay. And I walked in, and then he was laughing, and he said, that was awesome. And we're going to do a table read with the rest of the cast. I want you to show up as Chip, AKA Doofy. I want you to stay in character the whole time. So I did the same thing, and the whole cast was all freaked out and scared. And they said, I don't know if we want to be acting with this guy. And then he said, Dave, reveal who you are. And then they were like, oh my God, that's great. That's great. And then everyone said, listen, when we start shooting, you got to do that with the crew. We want you to show up as Chip and just be the Chip the whole day. So like on Scary Movie, the first 2 days, like I was literally in character the whole time. People thought that it really was, they cast some fucking nutball, So it was fun. So
that's awesome. So like how much of it was improvisation, and how much was it because I'm guessing you were working alongside the Wayans anyway, saying like, oh, let's try this, let's try that.
Because the Gale Swallows line, that's got to be the greatest line in movie history, in my opinion.
Well, that's funny too, because so something like that was like the way Keenan works was he just had me go up to the mic and he said, just say a bunch of stuff. I want to see, because he was shooting Gale at the same time. He's like, I want to see what makes her react. Just keep saying stuff and try to get her, to break. And actually, Gale Swallows was one of the ones that like really made her laugh. So they used that.
There's all these like, even though it is a parody, it's quite a clever parody. And one scene in particular that I really appreciate is I can't remember which. Oh, hang on, we lost you there for a second. Hang on.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just shifting through screens.
That's all right. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna maintain continuity and just switch us back. There we go.
Oh, I switched our screens.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I have the power. I was doing yard work, by the way.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm actually on my. I'm propped my phone up on the Mexican yard work hat right there that I was wearing earlier. So I'm trying to get these planter stuff all done, but it is hot here. I don't know what the temperature is, but
looks hot spot.
Yeah,
there's one scene.
I went to college in England. That's why I was asking where you guys were at.
Oh yeah, where'd you study?
I went to the University of Sussex and Brighton Polytechnic in Brighton. There in England, Brighton.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with the area.
Brighton Rod. Yeah, it's a party town. It's a party town. We just partied.
Yeah, I mean, you've got RADA, you've got places up in Sidcup. It's a big acting community down there. It's good. It's good. But with Scary Movie, like again, Sean and I, we're kind of like, we talk often about how there's always little subtle things in certain movies that make us laugh that not many people would pick up on. And in Scary Movie, it's the scene with, I can't remember which one comes first, but you know how the typical smell my finger, what's that? My ass, right?
Yeah.
What's clever about that is I can't remember if it's a scene before or after, but there's a scene where Gail is hitting on Doofy and she starts licking his finger, and then you get to see it go like that.
Yeah, exactly.
This is clever. The fact that kind of like it comes back around on itself.
Small. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Because I'm pointing at the van. I'm like, that band, that's right. That band's like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bit when she tickles Doofy, and there's that
nice part.
And she's like, remind me never to do that again.
Yeah.
Or
I had a ball.
How the killer's on the phone, and you pick it up, and you're like, hello, and it's you. You're the killer. That is cracks you up.
There's no one there. Yeah. Because at first, I'm in the other room, obviously calling, and then she leaves, and I'm like, I pick up, there's no one there, right? Because it's me.
But the most subtle part about that is your rage and boner. You're like, hello.
Yeah.
Hello. It's just, yeah. Funny shit.
It's a classic, man. It's like over 20 years old now, and it's still like, it's still getting there's still now there's memes out there. So I don't think Doofy's ever gonna die. He's kind of like
never.
In the year 2000s, he's like the new Alfred E. Newman of like the 2000s. He kind of represents the stupid culture.
It's noughty's nostalgia as well, more than anything. But I'm just obviously the film smashed it when it came to box office and expectations. Yeah, like no one expected it to be as big as it was. So I'm curious to know, like, what was it like at the premiere? What was the reaction?
Up north, it's fucking super cold, but yeah, it gets into the 50s. I don't know what that is in kilometers to you guys, but
kilometers.
My maths is
terrible. Do you mean Celsius?
Yeah. I was just joking about how everything.
So I'm high as fuck already. So sorry,
wow, that was fast. I'm a
lightweight, dude. I don't.
Just so people know, Dan cuts his weed up on his family's Bible. He goes, this has been in my family.
You're gonna say something different.
This has been in our family. This Bible's been in our family. This Bible's been in our family. My Scottish, English, fucked up family for the last 300 years. I don't read it. All I do is roll joints on it. I love you, Dan. That's perfect.
Love you too, kind stranger. So anyway, Alaska, right? So
now back to shitting in condoms. We'll be right back right after this break.
All right. Speaking of Alaska, right? I watched a really shitty film that takes place in Alaska called The Fourth Kind with Mila Djokovic.
It's a fourth kind.
It's that alien paranormal film where she's trying to contact.
All right, this film's a con, right? So I watched this a long time ago when I was like 17. I watched it in the cinema, and the whole premise of the movie is that there was actual real found footage that's filmed alongside the real scenes being reenacted by Mila Djokovic or whoever.
Okay.
And it's quite frightening. Like this real footage really adds the tension and all that. And then by the end of the film, you're like walking away from it. I can't remember how it ended. It was that fucking long ago. And I didn't watch it all the way through the other day. So, because it's a shit film. But you find out when you go on Wikipedia that none of the actual so-called real shit actually happened. That was also part of the fucking ruse. You know?
Oh, that's kind of like how the Blair Witch was. Remember the Blair Witch
but
Project?
they actually even
Yeah.
said, "Oh fuck it." That's what made me so angry.
I like Blair Witch Project.
No,
Do
the
I
Blair-
look like the guy who likes Blair Witch Project?
I mean, it's all right.
I didn't
film,
mind it when it first came out. It was everyone was like, because it was so, especially in Hollywood, it was so brilliant and everybody loved it because they made that movie for like $40,000
Oh yeah,
and it made like $300 million.
that started the found. Well, people claim that started the found footage genre, but actually, there was a film before that in the 80s called Cannibal Holocaust. It was an Italian film, and it was so fucking realistic that the actors in the film had to disappear for a year just to keep up this marketing sort of thing.
I like that.
Blair Witch Project did the same, didn't they?
No, wait. Fucking, you're gonna love this, right? So, Cannibal Holocaust, right? It has the premise is that this Italian journalist group went to. I haven't even watched the film, but they go to this like centennial kind of tribe. You know what I mean? Like people that have never ever been a part of modern day. Anyway, so one of those, and they're killing animals. There's some graphic shit in there. Just look it up, right? It's graphic as fuck. It was so convincing that people thought it was real, and the director got arrested for murder. So the actors had to come out of hiding just to prove that they were still alive.
Whoa, that's insane.
And that's all done.
What year was that?
1984, maybe around that. But
they should do a movie about that movie.
Yeah, man. Well, it got banned. It got banned. We'll edit
this bit out because that's our idea, and we'll copyright that right now.
Boom, copyright.
It didn't come out in the UK because we had really stringent censorship laws up until about 99. So films like The Exorcist, films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they were all banned in the UK until like 99 because they were under that pornography video nasty banner that came about in the 80s because people started getting video cassettes so they could just fucking make their own movies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it was just crazy.
I never heard of that Italian. So, and he was just like, so he admitted, hey, this was just all part of the movie. I didn't fucking murder anybody.
Yeah, he's getting
got arrested, and they all had to come out and probably like give blood and fingerprints to prove that they're the real actual person that wasn't dead.
100%.
For sure. But this film is something else, man. I can't bring myself to watch it because I'm thought it's not really my kind of thing. The shock thing, the shock factor. But I've seen the scenes that are very convincing. I'm like, wow, that was well done. That looks so fucking. There's a scene where a native woman, is impaled by a fucking spike and it's coming out of her mouth and she's just hanging from it.
That happened to my buddy the other day.
That's a stunt.
Fire Alaskan pipeline.
Right after the Alaskan pipeline.
Yeah. So Blair. Anyway, that was sort of the founder of the found footage genre. But then Blair Witch comes along and steals all its thunder because it's more acceptable than the shit that was in Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, and it was also about 20 years later too.
Yeah, it would have been
about Blair Witch was about 2000 or some shit.
99, I think.
25 years later
as well. It's like a bit of folded up pizza and a bit of cloth in it. So a bit of gore.
One time I was with my buddy Brian Jarvis, a wonderful, just brilliant comic, but he's a wonderful, wonderful comedy writer. And me and him used to always go to the cinema, as you could say. We used to go during the day because there'd be nobody around. It wasn't crowded. Neither one of us had, we were both doing comedy at night, so our days were free. So we go to see, remember the movie The Ring?
Yeah, scared the shit out of me. I was 10 at the time.
Another fucking, scary movie. So that shit just came out. Everybody was talking about it. And we're like, oh, let's just go see The Ring like Tuesday at like 11 a.m. So we go to this big theater and it's completely empty. And it's only me and my buddy Jarvis. And we're sitting right in the middle of the theater. Nobody around us. 1,000 empty seats. Right before the movie starts, this like about 6'5" African-American, a handicap, mentally, not physically handicapped. All of his faculties weren't there. He's probably 35. He comes in the theater. There's 998 empty seats in this 1,000-seat theater. Two guys are sitting next to each other, and this fuckface comes over and sits right next to my buddy Jarvis in the entire theater. So now it's just like this handicapped guy, my buddy Jarvis in the middle, and me. And right before the thing starts, he turns to me, he goes, fucking, you got to be shitting me. And I got to sit in there. I don't even know this guy. And this guy's sitting right all on my shit. He's so pissed. And then this is still an inside joke to us to this day. The movie starts, and I lean into my buddy Jarvis. I go, the movie just started. It's probably no big deal. It's just pretend he's not even there. We won't even notice the guy. And right in the beginning of the movie, and then there's like a real climactic, scary scene, and the music gets really loud. And they open his closet, and there's this like dead bitch just sitting like this in the closet. She's all dead and shit. And the music jumps, and it's the first time you kind of jump in the movie. Right when that happens, the retarded guy next to him goes like this. Oh, damn! For fucking the last 18 years, he lives in San Francisco. I'm in LA, but now I'm in Chicago, but I'm usually in LA. About every maybe once or twice a year, one of us will get the other guy's voicemail, and we'll just go, "Oh, damn!"
We got the same thing every time we pick up the phone to each other. You ever seen the film Grandma's Boy?
Grandma's Boy. Who's in that? Sounds very familiar.
Alan Covert and Nick Swanson.
Oh, Nick Swartzen.
That's the
one.
one.
I love Nick Swartzen. I've done a lot of drinking with that. That guy can. Speaking of people that can drink,
yeah,
that dude can drink just about anybody on the table.
Oh, he's a funny dude, man.
There's a
Swartz
scene.
is hilarious.
There's a scene in this film where he has to pick up the phone. He pretends to be his mate for some reason, and he goes, "Yeah, wow." And he's like, "Oh, Alex, your grandma's down here. She brought you lunch." He goes, brought you a package, and he's like, "Oh, I hope it's a naked dude with a boner, right?" Clearly, so every time me and him ring each other, we always answer with "Yeah, wow."
That's great. I love that shit. Now, how long have you guys known each other? You guys been friends for what?
Over 15 years.
How did you guys meet? In school?
Yeah, it was school. We were 12 when we met. We're 29 now.
Yeah, he was in the library, and I was sitting there being a nerd, eating my lunch, and he's putting gaming pictures of Halo 3 together on like Microsoft Paint, whatever the fuck it was, and he was putting them together. And I just sat over like, I play this game. That's how we become friends.
Halo 2. That was Halo 2. But yeah,
I thought you were going to say you met in a library and you looked over at him and Dan was rolling a joint on a Bible.
I tell you, man, I didn't start smoking weed until I was 21 years old. I was a late bloomer. It was him. It was here. Sean that got me stoned.
I started smoking when I was about 20, 21 myself.
Yeah, nice. I think that's the right age as well, because like if you start smoking, I've seen people that start smoking at like 14, 15 and their brains just mush by the time they're in their 20s.
Well, and then that becomes their identity.
If I knew, I'd tell you, but there's a few things. I do the musics, and I want twos on whatever Benny's smoking right now.
Nothing.
Yeah. You are former drummer of Shroud.
I am. I'm sure you get it as well, Benny, because it's like, you've got like fucking hardcore, and then you've got deathcore, and then you've got blackened deathcore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
black metal, death metal, fucking.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's
and
like
Enya. Talk about Britain's Got Talent. We'll talk about like how their bogus contract. Oh yeah, do you remember back in 2009 when someone started a petition or like a like page on Facebook saying "Get Rage Against the Machine to #1"?
Oh yeah, yeah. Christmas #1, right? It was Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah. At that point, X Factor was always getting the #1 Christmas spot, and someone just thought
reason that they started it, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then they actually played live. Rage Against the Machine got back together again, and they played live on Channel 5 radio, I believe it was. But they did the uncensored version of it, and it's still on YouTube to this day, right? Yeah. And then it's 9 o'clock in the morning when this happened, and you could just hear the woman go, "Get rid of it," and he goes, says, "We told Joe not to play that version of the song, but he did it anyway." Go buy Joe single, please. Is that his name? Is that the guy's name?
Joe McElderry. Don't ask me why I know that.
No. The lead singer of Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, fucking
Zach De La Roche.
Zach, sorry. I don't know why I said Joe. Sorry. My bad. Zach.
Joe. And there's me saying the actual guy, X Factor guy's name.
Yeah.
Shit.
The X Factor guy.
I'll
was
cut
Joe.
this bit out. I don't.
Nah, keep it in, man.
I'm joking.
We're all flawed somehow, you know.
Yeah, mine's knowing fucking previous X Factor contestants.
That good or bad?
I think that's bad, mate.
And there's me saying like, can you remember like who won X Factor in 2009?
I know.
It's ingrained in our brains.
As a matter of fact, yes, I can.
That's when you're in school and that you kind of still watch telly with your mum. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, big time. I would have known a few from being forced through my grand.
Yeah, a couple Big Brother winners. You know.
Funny enough, we're trying to get like hoping to find someone that was on Big Brother like 15 years ago and get them to come on.
Yeah, that's one of our fucking missions.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
We try to get
someone outside the box like Brian Bello or some shit, you know. Do you know what I mean? Someone fucking funny like that.
Right, it's ridiculous, but I love playing heavy shit live. There's nothing better than playing heavy riff live.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally no better feeling ever.
It's the best. It's the best to jam to as well. It's the best gigs to go to as well, man. I love it.
100%, man. A lot of people have a bit of a preconception of metal, and it's very outdated. The some of the people's viewpoints on it, but it's some of the most inclusive environments that you could.
I've met some of our best mates fucking getting punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's mental.
Exactly. It's fucking wild. Like, it's very inclusive. Like, there are obviously subgenres and things like that, and things do change, but overall,
it gets a bit wild, some of the genres, man.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it gets like everyone's a fucking target and all that, which is great to watch, but just don't get you know what I mean?
Well, like 5 hours a day, every day, it takes 5.5 years to get to 10,000 hours.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Like,
how the fuck are you doing this maths, Dan?
Well, I'm not great with maths, but I'm good with memorizing formulas, so I already done it in advance because that's how organized I am.
Fantastic.
You're prepared, mate. You're more prepared than me. I was going to ask him if he's paid his fucking TV license.
And the answer is no. On BBC iPlayer. Have you revoked their access? Yeah, straight up. Get them to fuck.
It's called VPN, Express VPN. They don't need to know nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on a need to know basis, and quite frankly, BBC don't need to know.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so you've definitely hit that 10,000 hour mark, that mastery level. Because the thing is as well, like with the music industry, like with any industry, really, you kind of, it's not just about being a master. Like luck is a massive thing as well. Being at the right place at the right time.
It's absolutely huge. Like, I know loads of people who can fucking shred me under the table. You know what I mean? Like, who are unbelievable musicians, but they've never, either they've never had like a lucky break, or they've just never wanted to take it any further than out of their bedroom. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I nearly, when I was in school and stuff, and I was like playing guitar all the time at home and not going out and fucking playing on Medina Field and that, I was literally like, there was a point where I was like, I should probably like fucking play, like try and write something or join a band. You know what I mean? Because it was just getting to, it's like you can't really do much. But
you gotta focus on it, like.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still fucking hard. But luck is a massive part of it. I know people who have been in bands for not even that long, or they'll have started a band and before you know it, they're already off and touring, and you know they've got the good support tours and things like that. And that is just pure luck. Well, it's a combination of right place, right time, and also, I don't know, just like marketing yourself in a certain way for years, and then they see someone like that. But you just got to view it as, it's just luck. There's not a lot that you can really do about that sort of thing.
And the thing is as well, is like when you start from the beginning of anything, whether it be playing the guitar or writing or doing art, whatever it is, at the very beginning, there's this saturation in the market, and it's hard for you to get noticed in amongst that. But then there are certain milestones that you're going to achieve. But in order to achieve those milestones, you have to be tested in a way. Life will throw a lot of shit at you that will test your discipline, that will test your resilience. And most people will turn their backs and think, oh, the hell of it, maybe it's not meant to be. But other people will persevere. And then suddenly it gets that little bit easier to be noticed and be taken more seriously.
It's true. It can get pretty disheartening in regards to certain areas, especially in the music industry. But like knowing when to just power through is a lesson that you got to really sort of like drill into yourself, just to like forget the shit and just carry on what you're doing. Or if what you're doing isn't really you're not getting any results from it, then just assess it and try to do something different. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, find your niche.
You ever thought about doing that? Or was it just solely music? Still.
I mean, right. The only time I've ever
Well,
thought about,
obviously you got more to life than just fucking music. I know, you know what I mean. But I'm just saying, like, is that your main goal at the minute? Especially
I'd
with
say
like
so.
Preston Echo at the moment.
exactly, like everything leading up to the pandemic, it was pretty much just like, obviously this is what I'm gonna strive to do for my life, you know. And then first lockdown hit, and it was like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to go on tour ever again. So that's obviously, that's probably one of the only times where I've thought about maybe branching out and doing other things.
Yeah.
Well, you're quite naturally a funny content creator, even if it's just like little snippets. Like the thing I laughed at the most that you ever posted was, it was around the first lockdown, and you were in Asda, and you had a red scarf around your face, and behind you was a woman with a blue scarf, and you just said it's about to go down in produce. It was just hilarious.
Just
off the cuff. You know?
Off the cuff.
Yeah. Like, I know what you mean, but that's a whole other thing. Like, to have the confidence to get up and like be funny in front of people, or to make that your sole thing, is like absolutely like the most terrifying thing ever.
Well,
like, if you're a musician, at least like if I'm playing a gig, at least I'm hiding behind a guitar or a drum kit or something.
Well, another question I got for you is like, because my dad experienced this as well, like being a performer, like even if it's just 50 people, it doesn't really matter. But he'll leave the stage with such a high, especially if it's been a good performance. But then the next day he is just wiped out. Yeah. And you hear about this, like you get people like famous examples like Michael Jackson or Freddie Mercury. They're very kind of shy people that have, you know, a few words. As soon as they go on stage, this whole persona kind of explodes. But then the next day they'll mention that they're just low, because that pendulum swings both ways. And, like, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, man. Like, I wouldn't say like completely regularly or necessarily as much as some other people might feel that sort of thing, but
yeah, man, carry on.
It's a weird one. Like, if you play some stuff, like if you play some shows, like I played some shows in 2019. I drummed for this guy, Dan Lancaster, who he produced the first Dakota album, and then we just sort of stayed friends. And he's an amazing producer and singer and that. And he asked me if I would drum for him, and I obviously bit his fucking hand off because it was like a good tour. And he was like, I can't pay you loads, but I can pay you this much. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as I'm fed and watered just enough every day, then I'm sound with it. But the first few shows on that tour were like some of the biggest gigs that I've ever played. And after the second one, we'd come off stage, fucking mental, like amazing. And a few people from Corby came. It was in Birmingham. A few people from Corby came down. My mum was there and my sister was there and shit like that. And it's mad, I haven't actually told anyone this before, but we come off stage and I'm in our dressing room on my Todd, and I can hear, like, through the door, you can hear the crowd, and fucking the second band are about to go on, and it's like fucking amazing. And I'm just sat there and I'm like, I couldn't feel anything. Like, I genuinely was sat there like, I've just played a show in front of like one of the biggest crowds I've ever played in front of. It went really, really fucking well. This is exactly what I want to be doing with my life, or so I've been telling myself my entire life. And I was just sat in that room in complete silence, like is this literally it? And there was like a musical, like the musical equivalent to the Samaritans number on the wall. And I was literally, I was about to phone it and be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I feel mad. I felt mental. Like, I was like, this is all I've ever fucking wanted, and right now I can't even like necessarily feel anything. You know what I mean? It was really strange, really strange. I didn't call it because someone came in the room, but in that moment I was like, this is fucking wild.
What were you planning on saying to the Samaritans if you went through with that phone call?
I'm sure it'd be like, I've just played a fucking amazing gig, and they'll be like, well, fucking cheer up then. Slam the phone down. You know what I mean?
So you stepped down from that ledge.
So you're saying that once you got off that stage, you just felt a low kind of hit you? Like,
yeah, but it wasn't even necessarily like from high to low. It was like going from just nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Just it wasn't even like I was upset or sad or anything. It was just like I was just flat, like flat as fuck. And I was but I expected the high to kind of like carry on a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is work when you get into that sort of thing. Like a tour like that is fucking hard work. Like the good bit is the half an hour that you spend on stage, but everything around it is like.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to go on something else here, but this is still they did a season of something called Shattered, right? So it was like Big Brother. It was about 2005, I think. They never did it again, and it makes sense why. But the premise of this show was very similar to Big Brother, right? But you weren't allowed to sleep for 7 days.
I think, I remember watching this.
And
vaguely, like now you said that challenge.
They had a restroom. They're allowed to go in a restroom, but if they slept, they lost.
I'm sure was there a challenge where they had to like sit and watch sheep jump over a thing on the
telly. Had to like sit in a classroom and all that. You can see them fucking nodding off.
Yeah, mate, that's a fucking brilliant premise.
No, but it's so bad. Like the Guinness.
It's bad to watch, but
yeah, but it's so bad for you. The Guinness Book of Records used to do longest time gone without sleep, and the record holder was, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was done in the 60s, and he stayed awake for 11 days. And then after that, they removed it because they said it's just not good for your brain. It can kill you. I don't know. I don't think you can die from sleep deprivation, but you've got to bear in mind what sleep's important for. You know, when you go to sleep, you know, you've got tissue that repairs itself. You know, even to this day, scientists can't fully understand what dreams are, but from what they understand, the popular opinion is that the reason why we dream is because it's a transfer of our short-term memory into our long-term memory, but it's sort of, it happens like a movie, but a very abstract, non-linear movie. So a lot of things aren't going to make sense. You're going to have things in your dream that happened very recently intertwined with things that happened decades ago. It happens to be all the time. There'll be times where I'll dream that we're back at school, but I'm the age I am now. We're all the same age we are now. We're in our 20s, but we're in a school that we attended as teenagers.
I remember having a dream when I was like 8 about a party I was having, and it ended up being my 13th birthday party. Like, the faces in my dream were like not clear because I hadn't met these people yet, so I didn't know them. But when the party was happening, it's like deja vu. I'd seen it before. Do you know what I mean? I was like, whoa, like I remember this.
You ever experienced dream deja vu?
Like something's about to happen, and then it happens.
You have a dream. The thing that you're dreaming about, you think you've dreamt about before. I've had that many, many, many times. And the scientific explanation for it, so I'm just grabbing my weed. The scientific explanation behind that is that there can be a bit of lag. I don't know the technical term, but it's like lag in your own brain. So it happens and then it happens again. That seems to be the only explanation.
The one I get most often is like, I've dreamt or I've thought about something and it happens, and then when it happens, that's when I'll remember it. I'll be like, whoa, I've seen this shit before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the one I get. And dreaming wise, I don't really dream a lot, but when I do, it's like it's those dreams that are, I forget the word. What's the word? Lucid. They're very lucid. Like I'll feel like I'm actually there. Like
you
it's
know
real.
that you know that the dream is real. But you know that you're dreaming.
No. I don't know.
That's what a lucid dream is defined as. You know you're dreaming.
Well, I don't think it's that, because in the dream I'm there, like it's real life, and then when I wake up in real life, I'm like, I think I think like, cause I remember times where I've woke up right in my dream. I've checked my phone. Oh, I've got like fucking £1 million in the bank. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I've woke up right, and I'm not even thinking about it. I've went and checked the bank, and I've been like, there's nothing in there. I'm like, oh. I'm like, what? I'm genuinely surprised there's not money in there. Like, but it obviously the dream was so real that I actually thought I woke up thinking, oh, I'm fucking rich.
You know, it's weird. I get these weird crossover. I call them crossover dreams. It's like that transition between waking up, still being asleep, and waking up, and you sort of get that impression. And I went through a phase during the first lockdown where I was gambling. It didn't get out of hand or anything like that. So I think it was called something Faro. You get it on all the Betfred sites and all that. It's like a 98% return. So it means for every £100 you spend, you're getting £98 back.
I of Horus.
Something like that along those lines. And sometimes you'd win pretty decent. You know, you get on the big board. Next thing you know, you're getting ×5, ×10, and you're walking away with like, at the most I ever walked away with was like 80 quid. But based on how many times I put a tenner in, I broke even.
You know, a business secret from an ex-bookie.
I'll go on then.
The trick is to always bet small. You always win big then.
Really? So like if you're just
Well,
doing
yeah.
20p's, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it ever again. But
No, because like with the slots, right, you get like 20p bets, the 50p, £1, £2, £5, £20, whatever. Not the 20p. You want to go for the 50p. Put a fiver in, do 50p's. Because the majority of the time, you'll always get a free spin at least once.
Yeah.
And that'll put you over a fiver, maybe over 20, 30, mate. And there you go. You put in 20, 30, 40 quids in to chase the money you're winning back. If you're putting fivers in, you lose a fiver, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm going.
Mate, gambling
You know what I mean?
is a fucking horrible thing to happen to someone. Like, again,
It
I was
is.
lucky. I was very lucky. I was bored. I was on the cusp. I won't lie. I was on the cusp. But I managed to pull away. My poor girlfriend, bless her. You know, she was all right in the end, but she started to get the pull because she had nothing else to do. A lot of people didn't have anything to do at this point.
Oh, good thing will be to do, mate. Trust me on this one. Like, just not really behind her back, but like, just count how much she's right, putting in right, and how much she loses, and then do the maths.
Oh, we done
And
that
then, like,
a year ago. We already done that. It's
Yeah.
it's resolved now. It's resolved. But I can completely understand why that would happen to someone. Like, luckily for me, I'm such a fucking tight bastard that I was just like, I just make my own money. I already made that.
Yeah.
I already had this conversation with myself because I tend to do this. Like, I'm not crazy or anything like that. I consciously have a dialogue with myself because
Mate, everyone does. Everyone has their inner voice, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like,
and one time I'm going for I'm a bit drunk. I'm at girlfriend's and I'm having a piss and I'm just having a conversation with myself. I'm like, all right, I promise. No, it wasn't that I promise. I was saying to myself, I was convincing myself of the idea that I will not be given my wealth. I will earn it. That was the conversation I had with myself. I will earn my wealth. All right, I don't want it any other way. And because of that, I never win at gambling because of that conversation I had with myself. And that keeps me away from it.
yeah, that's a good way to do things, man. If
So-
you've got like the self fucking control to do it.
Because even if I was to win, I wouldn't have earned it. So that's where I draw the line.
Well, in a way you do, because you're using your own money to gamble.
Yeah, but
It's
you're
just the
pressing a
addiction.
fucking button with your thumb, mate. Like, that's not.
Well, I know, but it's the addiction of it. Like, it's easy to get addicted because of the beautiful sounds and the ching ching ching.
It's
And even
bright.
the
Mate.
losing sounds, it makes you want
That-
to fucking not
that
hear the
reminds
losing
me.
sound.
There is no losing sound. It's just fucking silence and despair. Just stare.
There is
out from-
there is a cheeky little gudum, and that noise is like, even in your brain, it's like, I don't want to hear that noise. I want to hear the ding ding. You know what I mean? It tricks you, mate. Trust me, working in a bookies, that is all it is. Not the winning the money, not the fucking all this fancy shit. It's the noises. It's the ding ding, and the people that mute it, they're the ones who are fucking gambling addicts.
What's the best way to describe someone that's just lost everything?
I've seen it a couple times. What do you mean by that?
Like someone just fucking spent like 2 weeks' wages and got nothing.
Well, mate, oh, God.
Maybe that's too specific, but you get the gist.
See, this is where it gets touchy, because this isn't like the Swinny Anal story, because that's just true and fucking like. But see, this is different. This is like people's livelihoods and. All right, fuck it.
You don't have to say names, mate. Fucking just.
No, I don't know his name anyway. But there's this taxi driver, but he used to be on the self excluded list. So he must have come in like a year ago and
He
like
put a cap on himself.
not even that. He obviously because I didn't work there a year before he'd done it. So like he's give someone his passport and said, look, I don't want to. If you see me in the shop, you have to get kicked out. If you're in that list, like if you see him, you have to kick him out because he's done it himself. And even if he's like, no, I'm just like, oh mate, you're in the book. Get the fuck. So,
That's how it starts.
he used to come in, right? See, this is where he is. But we didn't. We just let him. We were like, fuck it. You know what? He spends a lot of money in here. You get self-included or not, fuck it. So
you enabled him.
I didn't. It wasn't my job. I wasn't the supervisor. It's the supervisor's choice to be like, sure, me, go kick him out. He's self-excluded. So she never said, or she, whoever the supervisor was at the time, never said that to me. So it was just like, yeah, let him spend money in the fucking machine.
Bastards.
Scummy, mate. That's why I hated working there. And I can't go too far into it. But anyway.
Mate, no, you're going all the way, bro. You're going all I can just cut it out. So don't worry about it. I'm not going to stitch you up, mate. I won't stitch you up.
Yeah. This isn't even that bad. This is not the bad part. But yeah, this guy, mate, he used to go in here and spend on the roulette, right? And like, no cap or anything. Just, this is before they started getting all the adverts coming out, like bet regret and all that shit. Like, there was none of that going on. So like, he'd be spending grands in this fucking machine, and then like spending more grands trying to make his grands back, but only making like a grand back. Like, ridiculous amounts, man. Like hundreds of grands, mate. I'm not even joking. And like, there was this one day in particular, he must have spent 10 grand on the roulette trying to get his 10 grand back. So he'd lost 20 grand. So then he puts another 10 grand in. And this is when like the guy was like, yeah, you can't keep chasing your grands. I know it's like cool and that, but like, mate, you've like, you know what I mean? His wife used to come in and like say to us and like if you see him, like, don't let him fucking, because he's like leaving us bankrupt and shit, this taxi driver. And yeah, just ruthless, man. Like, and this day he lost 30 grand. Like, he just sat in the bookies for like an hour, and like we were sitting behind the thing, like, I think he's gonna fucking like kill us or something like that. We were seriously worried for our life, because he looked like just like a ghost. Like, I've seriously fucked my life up there.
His fucking, yeah.
Like, yeah, he's just spent like 30 grand trying to win 10 grand back that he lost. So he spent 20 grand trying to get 10 grand back, and like, yeah, he's like fucked up his life, like. And sitting there, he sat there for about 2 hours, and he left eventually, but then we never seen him again. Well, not until I left, but yeah, man, ruthless, absolutely ruthless. So addiction, it is a mad addiction, because it's not like
the most socially accepted ones, isn't it? And it's the least spoken about addiction, I reckon.
Yeah.
That and sex addiction, I think, are least spoken about the most, because
sex addiction. Can you be addicted to sex?
No, look, you can fall into a loop, right? Here's the bottom line. And again, because it's not spoken about often, even it doesn't even necessarily have to be sex. It just has to be some form of pleasure. So whatever.
Yeah, but is there a butt ugly sex addict? Let's be serious.
What do you mean?
Well, you're gonna go to these sex addiction meetings and that. There's no fucking like the hills have eyes looking motherfuckers, is there? There's a sex addict. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. You probably get a handsome couple that go there, like your fucking Charlie Sheens of the world.
Yeah, like there's no, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to name names and say people are butt ugly. So like, you know what I mean? I don't want to come up with an example.
It's subjective. I know what you're saying. It's subjective. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't necessarily just have to be actual intercourse that qualifies as sex addiction. It can just be like, you know, masturbating. That can be an addiction, and it can.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's not spoken about is because it's almost on the surface level, it's harmless, because it's just you and your own company and your own private time, right? But if you're doing that 3 times a day for the sake of it, then that's a problem.
That is a problem.
There are 2 types of masturbating, right? There's the I'm doing this because it's lockdown and I don't know what the future consists of, so I'm just going to masturbate because fuck it. You know, what else am I going to do, right? And then there's the I fucking need to, right? This is like you've been working 10 hours straight, you've been doing split shifts, you've been fucking
nah, mate, it's 10 minutes after getting into work. It's like, oh shit, I need to masturbate. Shit. Can I go to the toilet?
And yeah, especially after like a morning shift and you get home and you just rub it out and you pass the fuck out.
No, what's the problem? People that masturbate and then 10 seconds later, like, oh, I can go again.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the chain wanker. Chain wanking.
Mate, I don't know if it's me getting older or what. Like, see, if I masturbate, I have sex with someone, it's got to be at least half an hour before you start rubbing up. Or, like, do you know what I mean? Some milk, paracetamol, I'm ready to go again. Oh yeah, let's go. I don't know, because you got to like control the pain in your penis.
No,
if you're gonna go again, yeah,
Paracetamol,
yeah,
mate,
man.
you're an addict.
Mate, I
You're
was
a paracetamol
joking.
addict.
I was joking.
This is a bit of a segue, but I was watching a YouTube series called Fascinating Horrors, and what's good about it is like some of them are only 5 to 10 minutes long, and the guy just covers disasters. You talk about the Smiler incident in 2015 in Alton Towers.
But like disasters, as in like natural, like hurricanes and shit.
No, mostly human error. Disasters.
Oh, okay.
So the Smiler was a roller coaster in Alton Towers. I fucking hate roller coasters.
Oh yeah, holy shit!
I used to date a girl. That was the most.
Remember that story? Oh, sorry, Dan. Carry on.
Right. No, I used to have a girlfriend back around that time of the incident. You've never met someone more anxious. Like when ISIS shot up that beach in Tunisia, her first response was, "Will I be safe on Weymouth Beach?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, fucking, they're gonna travel here in submarines. And
they're just gonna wash up like Terminator, fucking Dark Fate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like you've never met someone more nervous, more anxious about fucking anything. But yes, you go on any roller coaster, whereas I was the complete opposite. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not going on that
roller coasters.
So
my brother's the opposite to me. He's like, woo! I cannot do roller coasters because fuck that.
We're too smart. That's our problem. We just know that there are people less smart than us responsible for our safety.
Even the go-karts, man. No, I'm joking. I love the go-karts.
I can do the
dodgems.
No, I can do the little cable carts that go that take you
like
around.
The skiing ones.
Yeah. Because I'm a big fan of 007 Nightfire. There was a level called Skyrail.
I'm not scared of heights. I can do that sort of shit. Just like you putting your faith in a mechanical thing that's going.
Right. Well,
fuck that.
Let me tell the story. The Smiler, just you know what I mean. So there was like this thing broke records because it was so insane the way it was built, and they wanted to introduce a 5th cart to kind of ease capacity, and the engineers had an issue with it and fixed it, but then someone else didn't even realize there was a 5th cart still out on there, the dummy cart. So they send the cart out, it stops midpoint because the computer's saying the current rail that this is going to go down is occupied, and the employee overrode it, saying, nah, I can't see anything. Next thing you know, you can see the CCTV footage of the cart just going like that. You can't hear the sounds on the fly. It doesn't even look that fast. But 2 people lost a leg because of it. I mean, they got £3 million out of it, so you know.
They probably got fucking like animatronic legs or some shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I didn't know that's what went down. You know, I just knew that some people.
It took something like 5 hours to get them out of there because because they had to make a makeshift scaffolding just to get them out. 5 hours or something like 5 to 7 hours. So that was the Smiler incident. I mean, there's some other ones you want to hear. Do you want to hear some more? Yeah. All right. So there was I can't remember the name of the air transportation back in the day, like like the Hindenburg, those big, I don't know what you call them, just call them helium balloons, air carriers, I think they're called.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking blimps.
We'll just call them blips. Let's just call them blips, right? So there was one in the UK in 1930 called the R101, and it was state funded, and there was this one guy who was sort of behind it called Lord Christopher Thomas, I think. Farquhar. And he was like making sure the engineers got it because there was this big international conference coming up, and he wanted to fly in this thing all the way to India and back just to like, you know what I mean, gloat.
How long would that have took him in one of those?
Fuck knows. Days.
80 days and 80 nights.
But back then 40 days, 80 days around the world. And back then people thought that no one believed in airplanes. Even back then they're like, nah, it's going to be these little fucking blimps that get us around the world. It's going to take us to the future. And this guy was pushing these engineers saying, you need to get this thing ready. And they were trying to warn them because they're using all this experimental technology that they'd never done before. And you're dealing with fucking, hydrogen, helium, something very flammable that could explode at any minute. And they did all these test flights, were rushed. Next thing you know, right, they realized they had to keep their baggage to an absolute minimum. So all the staff and all the passengers getting on were only allowed to bring 1 pair of clothes in paper. This fucking Lord Thomas.
Farquhar.
Yeah, right. He's bringing on a fucking rug, boxes of champagne and all that, and they're all drinking all that. Gets over the English Channel and all that, and it fucking nosedives and kills nearly everyone.
Jeez.
Funny, that's fair. That's a terrible disaster.
Oh yeah, and during one of the test flights, apparently the blimp nodded to the king, and everyone was like, "That's amazing." It's because the people inside were fucking struggling to keep it open. People were like, it nodded to the king.
How stupid were people back then to think that was safe?
I know.
Let's go in a big fucking air balloon.
Yeah, why not?
But not in the basket, in the balloon itself. We'll go in that bit. That's safe.
I know.
Fucking idiots.
They even
Can we just talk about the audacity of Ian Huntley?
No, not yet. So they had lighters on these blimps. They were lighters. They had like a little asbestos room, you know, where they had lighters chained to it, so no one could walk up with the lighters. I'm thinking you had a smoking area in a fucking ball full of hydrogen,
balloon,
or helium, whatever. So there you go.
But
anyway, I thought
the thing is that it only went wrong for a few people. Like that's the beauty of it.
That's it.
If we probably chucking fags in there and didn't have a problem.
Exactly. If we could go back in time and make sure that those disasters didn't happen, 9/11 wouldn't have happened, because you try taking down those buildings with a blimp. It ain't happening, is it? Just see it slowly coming. There's a blimp coming.
Get down the stairs.
You can't commit acts of terrorism with a blimp. It just ain't happening.
No, it's not melting steel beams. Not a chance. Fucking chance.
We found a passport and a lighter. And we found 50 crates of champagne.
It was Lord Farquhar, motherfucker.
We found a rug. Anyway, sorry, man. We went on a fucking tangent there. Sorry.
That's good. Is there any more horrors? Or is that what you've got?
There was that one I mentioned before we started recording about that whole concert in 1979 in America. I can't remember where it was exactly, but it was The Who.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, from what I remember, people getting crushed because there was these two doors that were open, but they were still doing a sound test inside. And the people at the back of the mob thought that meant the concert was beginning, so they were pushing forward, and it was just fucking crushing people. That's probably one of my fears, because I'm a little bit claustrophobic. So one of my fears, you talk about the incident at The Who or Hillsborough, shit like that. That's what gets me. I'm just like,
being trapped in a coffin with a clown.
Well, think about because in my head, when I was younger, when I was reading about these stories or hearing about them, I was thinking, how can people kill people in that context? But then I'm thinking, well, it accumulates, doesn't it? It becomes exponential.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think what it's like at school. You think of what it's like at Logi, just all those kids trying to get through those fucking corridors between lessons.
Hey, people used to throw bricks in the yard shouting heads and that. No one gave a shit. Heads! A big fat brick, a big snow ice thing hit me crack in the head once. And I stood there for about 10 seconds.
Those kids were crying. They were the offsprings of like blimp engineers. They were just so negligent.
Mate. People would just finish their cans and just lob it halfway across the yard. Like fucking try to wipe someone out. No one give a shit. What the fuck was wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm going back to the asbestos room to have a smoke. Fuck this. And I'm trying to think of one other one that I thought of. Oh, it wasn't really a disaster per se. I mean, it was a disaster, but not really people. No one died directly. It was in 1986. It was the Balloon Fest in Iowa, and they were trying to set a world record of most helium balloons set up in the air. And there was something like 1.2 million balloons. They're trying to do 2 million, but the storm was coming, so they're like, right, quick, fucking hurry up, get these balloons blowing. And it was part of some publicity stunt for the city. And because of the storms that came, the balloons didn't go all the way up. They eventually just dropped, and 2 fishermen had gone missing in the ocean, and they couldn't find, the search party couldn't find them because there was just fucking balloons everywhere. They just looked like heads. You know what I mean?
What the Phoenix lights were? All them balloons.
I don't know, dude.
Phoenix lights, the thing.
What like balloons, like just
helium balloons? Yeah, helium balloons that you blow up high.
Right.
1.6 million. Yeah, 1.6 million. And it was all great and all that. And then obviously because traffic accidents, 2 fishermen dying because they couldn't be found by the search party. Eventually, because of the lawsuits, it paled in comparison compared to the amount of money they made for that stunt. So if you ever think about, boosting your image, don't go with balloons.
Shit.
2 fishermen wash up ashore in helium balloons.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good.
Any news is good news, isn't it? That's what.
Any publicity is good publicity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the balloon guy. I'm trying to think of other stupid publicity stunts going on. Oh, and one other one before, right? One other one was Travis the Chimp. I know a little bit about this one because I've done some research.
I don't know why I'm laughing because it's horrific. But
all right. So Travis the Chimp, he was a chimpanzee in I can't remember. It's those parts of America where you can keep exotic pets. You know, I mean, like Joe Exotic kind of area. And they had this chimp since like the mid 90s. And chimpanzees were kind of all the rave at the time, like in the 80s and that, like Michael Jackson had Bubbles and this, that, and the other. So, but what people don't realize about chimpanzees is that once they hit the age of sexual maturity, they become very, very aggressive, and they're very strong, like 4 or 5 times stronger than your average man. And so this is 2009, and the woman is struggling with Travis because he's just out of control, and he's humongous. He's like 200 pounds at this point. He's overweight. So she calls her mate over, Carla Nash, her name was, to come help out. But because she changed her hairstyle, I think this sent the monkey, no pun intended, fucking bananas, right? And she had this little Tickle Me Elmo toy, and the monkey just attacked her, ripped her hands off, ripped her eyes out, it was crazy. And you can, even to this day, you can go on YouTube and listen to the 911 call that this woman makes, and you can hear the monkey in the background. And the operator doesn't even sound like, he thinks it's a prank call. He's like, oh, your chimpanzee's killing your friend. It's like, send the police, great. So eventually the cops show up, shoot the monkey, and he dies. And this woman gets like one of the first ever face transplants ever done. Like, it's next level. She still looks fucked, but she's got a face, so that's all right.
Yeah, man, you've seen the pictures, man. It's horrible. Man.
Yeah, so the
it's
photo
like 2
of her,
holes where her eyes should be.
She went on Oprah, and she just looked like a fucking like.
It's not what she did.
She just, I can't describe what this woman's face looked like. It looked like when you play Cyberpunk and the textures haven't rendered yet.
It's like when you're a kid and playing a Play-Doh. Punch it.
Yeah. She looked like punched Play-Doh.
I haven't played Cyberpunk yet.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this poor woman. This will be our last podcast now, but this poor woman, was horrifically. And then it got me wanting to watch Louis Theroux again. So I started watching Louis Theroux on Exotic Pets. That's on BBC iPlayer. Check that out. That's pretty interesting. They do a bit more about chimpanzees. Just went down a little chimpanzee rabbit hole over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? All right. Here's a bit controversial, this one then. Fist bump with the explosion.
Fist bump with explosion. Oh, depends on context.
Nikki, to answer your question, it's first Tinder date. You know what I mean? At the end of it.
Just buying like a vegan sausage roll and Greg's just to the old lady behind the counter.
Have you used Tinder in the past?
I haven't used Tinder, and the reason why I haven't, it's more work related than anything. It's mad, but because I'm a teacher, what I'm scared of more than anything, so it only takes one, is a kid to
pretend they're 27 or some shit.
A kid at school just to I'm going to flick through Tinder just for a laugh. Look at all these.
Find you in your fucking Borat mankini and shit. Like,
well, it's not the picture I'd put up as my profile picture. I mean, it's out there, but it's. But yeah, that's the one thing that has put me off it, really, because
you know what, you've missed nothing. You've missed is a lot of disappointment and time wasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's like you're auditioning for a fuck.
Would you want to do that to anyone?
Bullshit
filter. That's it. Yeah, exactly. I think
I wouldn't need that. Everything that type is true anyway.
I'm pretty sure they've already invented that. I'm pretty sure it's just called
filter
alcohol.
back feature.
You've already invented it.
Yeah, it's alcohol, isn't it?
Oh, alcohol. Yeah, but alcohol's a different thing. That's more Dutch courage. That's more sort of self-esteem in a bottle, isn't it? Like absolute transparency.
I don't know. Let's find out. Ask me some questions.
I like your tits. Well.
We'll find out by the end of the podcast. We've got a couple of these to get through.
No, I remember about Lodge Park was they would literally drag homeless people off the street to do a speech about drug awareness or something like that. I remember there was one woman, we must be in year 8 at the time, and she comes in and she talks about the kind of classic LSD story that a man took LSD or acid or something, and he thought his hand was an orange, and he started peeling it. He started peeling it, and we all started chuckling amongst ourselves because we're 13 years old. And she got really offended by it. It's like, you think this is funny? And obviously we all kind of shied away and just didn't say anything back. But in my head, if I was the age I am now, I'd be like, fuck yeah, it's funny. Fuck him. I didn't give him the drugs.
There was aerosols as well, weren't it? There was a lot of people like making homemade lungs and stuff like that and doing aerosols.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you want to hear the horror stories? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I don't believe any of these. And they do sound funny.
It's like that woman that came in and said, oh, in 8 years' time, there'll be no more landfill left. And I remember waking up 8 years later thinking, that woman's full of shit.
8 years to the day, Dan's marked his calendar.
Had an alarm set on his phone.
just the same phone he had the alarm set on 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Just goes
I
off.
just remember waking up one day.
Lying
I was doing the dishes or something. I was doing the dishes, and I just thought that woman was fucking lying.
You're full of shit. I thought you greedy bastard.
What?
What the fuck?
I don't know. You just managed to get my Google to work.
Nicky,
Ain't no slave porn.
You know, lost the PSP.
Oh, we're gonna need to explain the PSP story now.
I've mentioned it before, but go on a tangent. Off you go.
Oh, we were in the sixth form, and they had sort of the sixth form common room, and then they had a sort of a quiet room next door, so where you could actually sort of study without all the shenanigans of what a common room is.
Rapscallions and all that.
Yeah, and we were in the quiet room, and then Tony noticed that there was someone's PSP sat there on the floor. Just someone had obviously just left it behind, and we didn't know who it belonged to. So sort of went onto it, sort of trying to look through, find any information about whose it was. And what he found in there, in the internet search, he found searches for gaping anal hole. And so anal hole, gaping anal hole, all the rest of it. And then we just thought,
hole.
We would sort of just put it to the side and someone's going to come in and collect that. Craig Swinton wanders in. Any of you see my PSP?
No fucking way!
We called him Anal Craig and Bumhole Craig for like 10 years.
What the fuck? My mind has just gone.
Are we going to have to bleep his name, or are we still?
No,
fuck.
Fuck Craig Swinton. Fucking, that's just blown my fucking mind. How he's been into anal gaping holes for at least 25 years.
Anal hole?
What the fuck?
Specifically the hole. I don't want any of the matter.
One of my favorite things is what I call the light bulb moment. When you experience that in someone, the light bulb moment, their eyes just go wide and they've just figured something out. The penny's dropped in something that you're teaching them, whether it be fucking bench press or algebra. You know, it's but you know what?
Can't beat it.
One reason why I can never be a teacher is because I'm a believer in karma, and I was a bit of a cunt as a student, so I'm never being a teacher because I believe in karma. We've ruined teachers. I've watched teachers go grey in 3 weeks because of my debauchery, and you know.
I remember Mr. Mobbs. Do you remember Mr. Mobbs? He was only there for about 9 months.
I was dad.
A year. Now he's dad with the IT tech.
Oh yeah.
He didn't get much abuse. I don't
think
Niall's dad side insulting.
We just called him Niall's dad all the time.
Yeah. Do you know who got it the worst though? Like underratedly, Miss Marshall, library teacher.
Oh, in the library.
No, but she deserved it. She was just a demon.
We used to hang out in the library like all the time.
I know, but like
she was like she reminded me, she was like the last baby boomer. Oh, she was like the first baby boomer. She was like patient zero of baby boomers.
I'm like, all right, he went, are you on that computer? And I went, yeah. He went, Mrs. Hayes would like to see you. I was like, right. And Mrs. Hayes was quite intimidating. And I walked in to like a room. She went, did you print this? Like they tracked the computer address to like my account. And she was like, do you think this is funny? It's feces. And I was like, yes.
Feces?
Yes, I do think feces is
born
funny.
in the 1920s.
Yeah. Like,
feces.
You're 16 years old and you think feces is funny. I was like, I think it's incredibly funny. Yes, I do.
Vulgar, you rapscallion. Get the cane.
we
nearly made leave.
We ruined.
Most of the PE staff were still there. Quite a few of them, like Mr. Rushton was still there. I used to love telling his groups whenever he had a group, especially when it was a year 7 group. I'd say to the kids in his group, "No, Mr. Rushton, he taught me when I was in year 7." And I'd love just to see their faces. Just like,
did you tell them?
Mr. Rushton,
remember when he got battered?
Oh, I've not told that story.
His nose went.
Do you see the sound of his nose?
There's still pieces of it in the yard now.
We were talking about this the other day, weren't we?
He took that
what a weird
square
group
to
of
the
teachers
face,
to like stick up for the school.
No wonder half of them are grey now. Fuck me. Some of them are still in their 20s, for fuck's sake. They're grey.
Do you remember Mick, the technician?
Yeah.
Mick,
he was in the tech room. He used to just cut wood and plastic and stuff here.
Mick,
like
just
the band store. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't qualified. He was just an old man called Mick who used to cut wood for you.
You just go into the other room and it was just like this DT technician, and he just like used like the sword.
He just went in the other room and you never be seen again.
This story about him making Grant Holt eat clay, and
What?
we're all. I was like, everyone in like.
You eat clay now, motherfucker.
It was like, do you remember that room that was all like a cage? You had like the fucking boiler and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Everyone was lobbing clay about, and like Grant was getting pulverized with it. And then he walked in. He's like, no, stop. And then Grant's like, they're making me eat clay, sir. He went, okay, you eat that bit and then no more. That bit, you can eat that bit, but then no more clay after that. Grant's like, okay.
Is that why he got fired?
Clay.
Making them eat
He got sacked for smoking weed in the year 11, so.
Did he?
That's a true story, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh man, so Nicky, you got to tell us, right? So when you go into that staff room for the first time, right? How are you received? Because you were a good student, right? So they would have actually liked you.
Recognized me, and it was quite nice to sort of
get to know
people in a different. Like, it's weird knowing them. I think knowing first names is weird. Mr. Rushton being Pete is weird as hell, and Mr. York being Andy, and
Peter.
Well, the rest of that it's different.
Peter.
Do you ever go? See you later.
Not your lesson, Peter.
Mr. Goodson was Hugo anyway, but.
Have you ever had to dish out the strike system, Nicky?
No, I was just amazed that dangleberries were only strike one.
That's what I said. Did you mean strike 1, 2, 3? 4?
Yeah.
How many were there? Like, there's plural berries there.
Surprised that was.
Oh, I think there was just one. I think there was just one. I didn't look too long.
Just one nugget.
Singular dangleberry.
How big was this nugget? Was it like a McChicken nugget, or was it like a pebble?
It was big enough to be. It was big enough to be of concern. Put it that way. Big enough to still be in my brain after 9 years.
Big enough to deserve a strike.
On the ruler, how would you measure concern?
Fucking no.
He just whipped out his. He just whipped a ruler out.
You know what? It was the size of pie. All right. I'll get a compass out. I'll get that one with a big fucking needle in it. Oh, what's that? I'm just measuring your dingleberry.
That's only one strike. You're lucky. Dingle. Off to the bus stop you go.
Protractor out to measure the angle of the dangle.
Protractor? What's that thing you put the thing in and it has a meter in it?
Imagine
compass.
Where's X? There it is. What is X? It's a dingleberry.
It's an anal hole.
Oh, mate, Swinney would have been in his element, mate. He would have stayed behind.
Oh, I wonder how deep this fucking.
But yeah, so yeah, she was on the
Dingleberry.
She was on the strike.
Dingle. Kane Dingleberry.
There's other girls I've used the strike system on. There was this one Tinder girl.
Does it just go down to girls, or is it got any guys?
Guys is a different system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing with those JPEGs back in then days.
You go on MySpace and all that. If you can get access to your old account, and you go on there, you look at some of the quality of the photographs. You think,
nah, they've redone it now. You can't get on your old profiles.
Yeah,
on the updated MySpace.
I got rid of mine. Just before they did that, anyway, I got rid of mine because I was starting doing my teacher training and stuff like that, and I was sort of cleansed everything social media wise.
That's it. No one's going to find your MySpace.
Yeah. Or did you have bad shit on your MySpace? Did you? You're like,
and
no, but it was
Nicky. Like, fuck you,
but it was just him doing a handstand fucking beer bong.
If I was athletic enough to do a handstand, I'd have kept it up there.
Just the beer bong.
I went back on it when they redone it, and I was like, oh, I've got on my old profile. And then I remember there was like, they were trying to get back. Remember, it's like big for blowing bands up. Bands would make the page and like get followers.
Yeah.
They were trying to get back into like live streaming events. And I logged into it, and then in the corner there was like a gig live in the corner, and it was Paul McCartney. I was like, "Fuck this shit!" Just logged.
There's a blink you'll miss it scene. So when Tallahassee and Columbus first turn up at the supermarket to get the Twinkies, he starts playing the banjo, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 right? And that first zombie comes up and he fucking whacks him. And as he's killing the zombie with the banjo, for like one frame, you literally see Twinkies behind him. Because he's having so much fun killing this zombie, he completely misses the Twinkies.
I didn't see that. I've watched it a billion times. I've never seen that.
To be fair, I never noticed it watching the film. Someone pointed it out on a meme. So I just remembered it watching that. I was like, oh, this might be the Twinkie scene. I was like, there it is. There it is. For like a couple of frames, you see a Twinkie. But you know what? there's in Weymouth, you've got the Londis, I think it is Londis or the Spa, and they have a little section dedicated to American sweets, confectionery, and they sell Twinkies, overpriced as fuck because of obviously export fees and all that shit and tax. And I tried a Twinkie out of curiosity. You know what? Don't really give a fuck about Twinkies.
No, man, no. Just
it's an American thing, isn't it? I think if you grow up with it, you appreciate it more. But couldn't care for Twinkies.
It's like I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack every time I've ever had one.
Yeah. It's like 6-month-old cream wrapped inside some crappy sponge thing that wasn't made by anybody on.
Tangy.
Yeah, they're not American confectionery ain't great at the best of times, but Twinkies.
Sometimes you get it better. I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example, right? So I like M&Ms, right? Not big fan of the peanuts one because I'm just not a peanuts guy, but like the crispy M&Ms.
Crispy. Oh.
Crispy M&Ms.
Yeah, man.
M&Ms. But they brought out salted caramel M&Ms and they tasted like shit. Basically tasted like a crystal inside a bit of chocolate. But then this Londis store I mentioned, they were selling, sorry, it wasn't Londis. It was in a place called Tower Park. Pete, you know Tower Park. So Sean, about 20 miles out of town, there's a place called Tower Park. It's got loads of restaurants. It's like a business park. It's got Nando's, Pizza Hut. It's got a cinema. It's got fucking, I'll take you there next time you're over.
Fucking Splashdown with
Splashdown, yeah. Which is just imagine a pool with no swimming pool and just slides.
What?
Tubes, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a water park, mate. It's an indoor water park.
That's what it is. I couldn't think of the word.
It's just awesome. Yeah.
You can tell I came from a poor family. So I can't describe a fucking water park. But so the Tower Park's got like an American confectionery shop. They had caramel flavored M&Ms, not the salted caramel shit that we were getting in the UK, actual caramel. They were much fatter, these M&Ms, and they actually had gooey caramel inside the M&Ms. There was another one as well. It was like these chocolate drops that they'd done. One of them was brownie flavor, one was Oreo flavor. Fuck me, they were good. And they had cake flavored M&Ms, but it was £5 for a bag. So I was like, nah, I ain't doing that. But just once it'd be nice to try birthday cake flavored M&Ms.
Birthday cake.
I'll tell you what, mate. It's as expensive for them because last year I sent Cadbury's celebrations box, the boxes you get for Christmas, like full of roses and shit. This was a Cadbury celebrations thing, but it had like 6 or 7 different bars of chocolate, and I sent it to a friend over in Mississippi, and that cost the best part of 30 quid to buy that through Amazon because it was over there. Over here you'd pick it up for kind of like 6 quid. But that was like 30 quid. That was a couple of years ago.
So wait, so you sent this to him like he had to pay the fucking
No, I had to pay for it. all. I bought it through Amazon, but because it's English, United Kingdom, politically correct chocolate, sent to the States, it's so bloody expensive over there. Right, so if I go and visit my sister in the States, I take a load of chocolate with me because fucking bar of dairy milk over there, mate. It's like you got to take a mortgage to get it. It's so bloody expensive. So
we have dairy milk, and the Yanks have Hershey's.
It's crap.
The French have Milka. Milka's not too bad. They got some, but they have more variety of Milka in France. So you got like the Captain Cookie or whatever it's called. It's like the cookie flavor. It's quite
Captain
nice.
Crunch.
No, not Captain Crunch.
It's American, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but they've got and then they've got like the double chocolate one. They've got the like the biscuit crunch one, Milka. That's quite a nice one.
Mate, I'll tell you what, if I was Tallahassee, I'd be going for Toblerone.
Really? I'm not a big fan of Toblerone. Have you tried the orange one?
Swiss chocolate. No, I tried another one. I tried a caramel one the other day. In fact, it's still upstairs. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, kind of like a praline and caramel.
Mate, I feel like I'm eating a spike every time I put my mouth around one of those.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You do have to be careful, but yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, if I was him, I would definitely be going for a Toblerone because that.
I'm going for the digestives, the chocolate digestive.
Chocolate digestives. Yeah, we're big fans of that.
Yeah, massive fans.
Right, Pete, real quickly, digestive, chocolate digestive. Do you eat it upside down or right side up?
Am I in space or am I on Earth? I don't know. What's upside down and what's because you do it vertically, mate.
Right. Yep. Do you eat it with the chocolate up or upside down?
Okay, I've got to be honest. I will dip it into my tea vertically, and then I think probably 99% of the time it's chocolate up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Does that make me a bad person?
No.
I agree. According to Sigmund Freud, it means you're homosexual.
What?
Well, we know that.
I'm joking. I made it up, dude. I'm joking.
What do you think I'm chatting to two fellas on? Hacking Tinder right now.
This is our OnlyFans page.
Oh, is this not Tinder?
Thank you,
Oh,
Big
shit,
Cocks.
I'm on Grindr.
Thank you, Big Cock 69 for your donation.
Oh shit! I didn't realize I was on www.
Grindr.
www.38yearoldcubingcocks.com.
Hang on, Pikey. You are not 6 foot, and you are definitely not blonde. Are you catfishing me?
My real name's Megan. I play World of Warcraft. I have 3 chins.
I quickly changed my name to Hunky Builder.
Yeah.
You lied.
The reason why they call me Little Yoda is because I've had chlamydia for 10 years and have a small dick.
Little Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Right, I got to tell you, for the purposes of the listeners, there is a dog in the background, and I think that dog is so bored it's fallen asleep.
No, that's Princess Leia. That's his
baby.
Really? That's his baby. And they got a cat called Jaffa. Jaffa's fucked off for the night, isn't he?
He's fucking me. He comes in and out whenever the fuck he wants.
Jaffa or Jabba?
Jaffa.
Jaffa. Okay.
Yeah, he's ginger. And my nephew just seen him when he was a baby and was like, yeah. So, Jaffa stick, mate.
Isn't Jaffa another word for a homosexual?
Yeah, I think according to Sigmund Freud, yeah.
Yeah.
According to Sigmund Freud, having a cat. According to Sigmund Freud, having a cat named Jaffa means a paedophile.
He's a clever man, Sigmund.
Oh man, that man was beyond his years.
Sigmund.
No, according to Seaman Freud.
Seaman fried.
Hey, that's quite tasty. I saw it.
You didn't see that coming.
Depends which semen. Sorry, we're still on Grindr.
So, anyways, so Zombieland, they make their way to LA after.
Shit, where are we, man? I fucking.
All right, so Columbus. All right, they meet Emma Stone and the sister, and they fuck them over and steal their car, and they have to walk and Tallahassee just loses the plot and starts smashing up a car. Out his rage, and they put a lot
his dog.
Yeah, they put a lot of emphasis on like you just got to let it out, you know.
All right, here's a thing, right? Emma Stone in that scene, she steals their gun. Really clever. She steals their gun, and then she turns around and says, "Well, better you make the mistake of trusting us than we make the mistake of trusting you." And this is what really pisses me off about playing games. And I'm talking DayZ. I'm talking about Infestation, Survivor Stories. I'm talking about anything that you got to play as a survival game. I've said this to friends at work. We've had chats about this, and I've said, you know what? Mankind, we're fucked up little puppies. Because I've been playing like Infestation, zombie survival game, and you walk around the corner and there's somebody stood in front of you, and you haven't seen a living person for 6 days, and this guy stood in front of you, and you're using the waving meme. You're kind of like saying, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" That fucker wants to shoot me. I'm not worrying about saying hello to him. I'm worrying about pulling my gun out because I might have a can of beans that this arsehole wants. That is human nature right there. She stole their gun because she knows that the chances are, despite the fact that she is hot, they're going to kill her because that's human nature. You play any survival game and that happens in any survival game. You cannot trust anyone.
Yeah, I've never found
especially
it attractive.
You've never found it? I thought you had the hots for a big time.
No.
Dude, he's on Grindr. What does that tell you?
Tells me that Sigmund Freud was right.
Just the way she's like,
not being attracted to Emma Stone according to Sigmund Freud means you're gay.
"Hi, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you."
Was she royalty?
Mate, you sound more like fucking Cillian Murphy than Emma Stone.
It's just a manly voice impression. Isn't it?
Sounds more like the mutant in RoboCop when he gets melted by the toxic waves.
Sausage fingers. Yeah, I love that dude.
Reminds me of this Down syndrome kid I used to go to school with named Thomas.
Thomas.
No, he was a good kid. He was a nice kid. You know, no, he was a good kid. I mean, man, a few words, but he was all right.
Were they the right words?
I'm glad this is
I don't know.
I think we need to steer clear of this particular subject for the moment.
All right. Well, I just want to give him a shout out because he's a good dude. I don't know if he's still alive. Man. I don't know if he's still alive or not. You know.
Are you listening, Marc? We like this dude.
Oh yeah, Marc.
Yeah, Marc, fucking what
We'll
new
get-
is he getting into the gym recently?
No, he comes in every day. He can't fucking leave the place.
What's his new
He's got
Tech
an
Time
Apple.
with Marc? All right, this is the new section of the show. Welcome to Tech Time with Marc. What's his new technology this week?
Hey, mate, he's inventing shit that Apple haven't even heard of yet, just so he can have it first.
Like Thibault said, he's got the iPhone that gets released when he's dead 4 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
what-
the man is on it. He's definitely on it.
So was it always like that with technology, or was it something he adopted later on in life?
I think he's always been like that with everything.
Could you
to be
imagine
honest.
him in the 80s with like that big fucking oak cabinet with like the Betamax? with
So he'd be
with the
able to get
waterbed.
He was probably the first man in England to walk around with one of those fucking great Motorola mobile phones, which had like car batteries attached to them. He's like putting it up to your ears and going, "Hello, yeah, I'm in the shop," shouting his mouth off.
Yeah.
With his
Hello, Dom
Yeah.
Jolie, whatever his name is.
No, I'm in Brazil.
Mark strikes me as the kind of guy that would have a car phone. Like, remember those car phones back in the 80s where it was actually a telephone in your car?
Hello, Marc.
Yeah, exactly
Fuck
that.
you. Fuck you, Marc.
So when was he your father-in-law? How far back are we going?
Oh, I can't believe you went there.
No, the only reason I asked that is because that way I'd be able to understand what sort of technology he would be into at that point.
All right.
Watch the dick he is.
We are talking. Well, my boy is 16, so we're talking 14 years ago. I ceased to be his son-in-law.
So we're talking early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, we're talking a long.
So we're talking
ago, yeah.
styluses, fucking. We're talking PSP. We're talking.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. I thought about this the other day.
Samsung's.
You know those little. Oh, what are they called? Compaq made them. They're like what iPhones are now, but they're kind of like mobile organizers. They're kind of like a fucking filofax on a little screen.
Like an MP3 thing.
Oh, it was like
No,
a
I
diary
can't
thing,
remember.
wasn't it? With a
Yeah, it was a
stylus.
little diary thing. I just can't. Yeah, with a stylus. I just can't remember the name of the bloody things.
It was like an
but
organizer, wasn't it?
It was a little organizer, and it had a really early version of Windows on it. And I tell you, this was great because he bought it. And he was like, "Oh wow, look at this! I've got this!" And he bought this fucking docking station, absolutely everything for it, every possible peripheral that you can buy for it. And I shit you not, within 3 weeks, he got bored of it, bought a new one with a slightly bigger, fucking 3mm bigger screen, and then gave his old one to me. So it was all right. I did well out of that. And I used it considerably more than he did. However, the rubbing it in my face that he's got something better than me wasn't exactly something that went down well. But you know what? I'm sitting there with some new shit that I wouldn't have bought anyway.
So even back then in the early 2000s, was he still dyeing his hair with boot polish?
Oh, I don't think he was dyeing it. I think it was made of boot polish.
Did he have frosted tips by any chance?
Did he have a Blink 182 shirt on? And bell bottoms, that big fucking chain hanging from it.
Oh, mate, he is a lovely guy, but he is he's got a thing for technology. He likes to have the best of everything.
He's autistic. I think he's on the spectrum for sure. Like, because in the 1940s, you weren't getting diagnosed with autism. You just got slapped about and kicked. Told to shut up.
Yeah, it's possible.
Shut up and play with your toys, fucking idiot.
Marc.
Trying to watch the game, Marc. I should have got an abortion.
I hope that American comedian listens to this because he's going to have a fucking field day with it.
We've got him back on next week.
Yeah. We're going to be discussing Contact with him, with Jodie Foster. But anyway.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to go back onto Zombieland. I'm sorry. I apologize. We're doing good, though. I like it. It's like best of both.
Sorry/fuck you, Marc.
Yeah, we had to get them up. For those who don't know, for those listeners who don't know, Marc was mentioned in episode 17.
18.
Episode 18 with Jayson Thibault. There was a whole segment based on Marc. So this is like us going full circle with the whole Marc.
Yeah, Marc is a real man.
Yeah.
Whose name should never have been mentioned.
Dyes his hair with boot polish.
It's not Dan's fault. He was going to cut out. It's Jason's fault for making it funny.
Yeah, no, you know what? After that, I kind of learned to think, you know what? Fuck it, it is what it is, because everyone at work found it funny, and even those who didn't approve of it didn't say nothing. I could just see it in their faces.
Yeah. Disapproval looks from the people you work with.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, we know that well.
So Zombieland, they're making their way to LA, but originally before they get to LA, oh wait, we've got to go back a little bit further. So they find a Hummer, like a bright yellow Hummer,